Hey, I'm Sakura Tezuka, and I'm here with Tabatha Really.
Really?
Link in the description. Um, so I've been doing collabs on her channel with a bunch of story times, and as well as a bunch of other things that are fun. You should definitely check them out.
At least the story times are planned.
Some of them. But we're going to do a few more story times for you today. So,
You first, your channel.
you first. I went first on your channel.
Fine. My story is about... There's no way to tell you without giving it away. So I'm just going to go into it. I went to college in a town with 3 colleges trifected around each other. I was going for a medical degree. So, when you get to a certain point in a medical degree, which I do not have, so don't come at me with your medical questions. The reason why I don't have it's for another story time. But when you get to a certain portion of your medical degree, they make you do something called an externship, which is at a hospital, or at least mine was. It was in the hospital ER. Reasonable enough.
Mm-hmm.
She's heard this story, so she's gonna try not to laugh.
I'm gonna fail because this is a really funny story.
Anyways. Ooh, building up the pressure. Gotta get this right. Anyways. Okay, so one night in particular, it is me and 2 other undergrads externing, and we have 2 nurses. And that's it. Like, doctors are on call, but there's no doctors in the office or in the building at this time because, spoiler alert, doctors are the only ones who get to go home when they feel like it. Anyways, so the first nurse is, and this is gonna sound stereotypical, but she's a rotund, darker complexioned, and kind of, I can't snap, but, sassy lady. And the number 2 is this older, paler complexioned woman who does not want to have to put up with anyone's bull.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're standing at the nurse's station because that's what you do when most of the people are sleeping. And no, I never know what to do with my hands because I am Ron Burgundy. I don't know what to do with my hands. Anyways, so the older no bull lady comes up to the counter. She just got a patient in. I will be giving no one's names because that is against the law, and I won't even be making up names because that's how serious that law is. Anyways, older, serious lady comes up to the counter, and she has a look like she's done, not with today, but also with tomorrow already. And her shift started 5 minutes ago. New record for this woman. Anyways, and we're like, okay, so what is it? What's going on? And we're all kind of just sitting there, like idiots because we are. And she leans over and whispers into the other nurse,
the sassy one,
into her ear. And the 3 of us, the 3 plebes, the 3 medical plebes, are standing there looking at each other, concerned, questioning life because, she usually just says whatever she has to say. Why does she need to whisper? And the sassier lady goes, "Oh no!" Which makes everyone's eyebrows hit a new altitude. And I'm like, what's going on? One of us is going to have to go in that room. We need to know what we're walking into. And she leans in. She leans in so close to my ear to whisper, to whisper what's going on in that room. To which the only response I could have was to go, "He's got what in his where?" And obviously, if we're all whispering, we're not supposed to be saying things out loud. But I couldn't stop myself because he's got what in his where? To which she goes, "He's got a train up his butt." And try as we might, we could not hold in the amount of giggling laughter. The grown man, who was the only man on that shift, standing next to me, giggling the most girly out of all of us. And I'm pretty sure he didn't set off anybody's gaydar, so don't even go into that. Just... We couldn't stop. Trying not to wake people up, but we could not stop. And she says to me, "And since you can't keep your mouth shut, he's your patient." Shit. Sheet crackers. Now I have to go into this room. They wanted to give me no other explanation. They just handed me his chart. And she said, "Go get him, girl." No thanks. So, I go. I go to enter the room, and let me try to paint you a picture of what's going on. The x-rays, which had already been taken, were up on the wall behind this gentleman. Not a pun. They were literally just behind him. But his behind was aimed into the air, like some kind of weird hot yoga. He had a striped collared shirt and looked like his name might be Chad. Not his real name, but it looked like it could be Chad. So he had a striped shirt, his ass is in the air, his tan khaki shorts are pulled down because no one could do him the courtesy of hiding his shame. But on these x-rays, you can see that it's not just one part of the train. It is 3 or 4 full train carts in this man's butt tunnel. Just whoop. I didn't look close enough to see if they were connected, but there were 4. So I go to walk around him to get towards his face to actually talk to the guy, who has said nothing, and I assume was too ashamed to speak at the time. And there it is. Between the man's butt cheeks was the little face of Thomas the Butt Engine. And the only thing I could think of was, at least he thought he could. And, yeah. That's the only part of that I'm going to tell you about.
Okay. So now it's my turn. After that funny story.
Right in the man's butt tunnel. Woo!
So now I'm going to tell you a story that is more on the darker side.
Time to get dork.
So previously on Tabatha Really's channel, we did a video where I mentioned the witch's Bible that my mother had burned. Want to know more? Check out our channel.
And I talked about a gentleman coming at me with a handgun.
Mm-hmm. Find out more on her channel. But while we were talking, I also mentioned that my sister had been possessed. This happened shortly after my mom burned the witch's Bible. So after burning the witch's Bible, like I said previously, there were a lot of strange things starting to happen.
Or weird
things starting to happen. So we would hear footsteps. There would be weird things moving around. There would be doors closing and opening when they shouldn't have. Items going missing for hours and hours just to find them exactly where we had placed them before, after looking there several times. But my sister during this time had been not a bad kid, but not the best. She was going through a stage where she was throwing a hissy fit about everything. But after this witch's Bible burned, the hissy fits got more and more extreme. She would start throwing things. She would chase me around the house when my parents were away with a knife. She would, threaten to shoot us. She would become even more violent than normal. There were even several times where she started talking in languages that at the age I was at the time, I didn't know what they were. I later found out that it was things like Latin and French, things she would not have known because no one in her family knows how to speak any of that. But she was definitely possessed. So one night, she's throwing this hissy fit, she's screaming, crying, throwing things around the room. It's getting more and more violent, and my parents, very Christianized, very Pentecostal parents, freak out. My father grabs the Bible, and he is not a religious man at this point. He is not a very religious man. My mother is strictly Pentecostal, but my dad was not. But at this point, he definitely believed something was going on with my sister. So I remember crowding around in their bedroom. Now, in this old farmhouse, which my parents still live in today, their bedroom, there's one bathroom, and then there's their bedroom, and then a hallway with the stairs leading up to our rooms, and then the living room. We were all in their bedroom, and they had held my sister down and started to pray. They just continually prayed, and this took several hours as they just held her, and she continues to scream, and she starts saying profanities in different languages that she wouldn't have known, which that's how I learned most of the other language curse words that I probably shouldn't have known at that age, but that's another thing. But it was so bad, and my mom, she had this...
Satan's teaching you bad words.
Apparently. Be good, kids. But my mom had this really old cross that she had gotten from her mother. And she took that cross and she laid it on my sister's forehead. Now, my sister's trying to shake it off, she's trying to scream, and it actually looks like it's starting to burn my sister's skin. So we're all in there praying continuously, and then all of a sudden, it stops. She stops screaming. Mid-cry, her tears dry up, she is perfectly calm. There was no way that if you were having a hissy fit, you can go from that to that in just a split second.
Some severe bipolar.
Severe bipolar or possession. But after she had calmed down and we had finished putting everything away that we had pulled out for this, she says that she was hearing someone's voice that she didn't know. She was seeing things that shouldn't have been there, all after this witch's Bible had been burned. So my sister was definitely possessed, and afterwards more weird things started to happen around the house, but it was less than previous. If that
Calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, it calmed down a little bit. Less things started going missing, less floor creaks, less doors slamming out of nowhere. But I would see shadows. Shadows that looked humanized in the darkness, usually around my sister's room. And ever since then, I would always leave a cross in my sister's room when I went to bed. And I'd never told anyone about this, because I was always afraid that she would start, chasing me with knives again, or taking my dad's gun and trying to shoot me.
And as we learned in the last video, if someone tries to shoot you,
get out! But yes, that's essentially what happened, and that's what happened when my sister was possessed.
I also feel like this is the perfect opportunity for me to say that I am one of those people who I don't necessarily believe these things, but I also don't not.
She's on the fence.
There's the line, there's me. This one, however,
fully believe.
Believes.
Hey, a lot of my favorite YouTubers, Haley Reese, Loie Lane, they believe in the unbelievable, and so do I.
Listen, I love watching channels like that, especially Loie Lane, or like even some of Shane Dawson's. Well, I know everyone's sick of hearing Shane Dawson. Whatever. Some of his creepier videos. I mean, he doesn't follow all the rules you're supposed to for those scary stories, which I think is kind of the point, because he doesn't actually want demons to be following him around. But I like those YouTube channels. I like creepy. I like spooky. I don't necessarily believe it, but I love horror movies, so why wouldn't I watch spooky things on YouTube? Right?
Yeah.
Anyways, because this is a collab, I'm going to do a little bit of my outro, and then you do a little bit of yours.
Got it.
Like, comment with,
the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you at work, as well as if anything strange happened to you.
anything strange happened to you and your siblings when you were younger. Okay, so like, comment, subscribe, do what you're gonna do, because we both know you're going to.
So, thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye!